Gil Martin of Locked On NHL here with our continuing coverage of NHL free agency. And with me from Locked On Senators, Ross Levitan. And Ross, Claude Giroux coming to Ottawa. Your thoughts on this big signing by the Sens?
Well, he's coming home, Gil, right? That's the beauty here. He's an Ottawa boy. I know, born in Hearst, Ontario, but grew up in Ottawa, played for the Cumberland Grads, then played his junior hockey just across the pond in Gatineau. Then we got to see him embark on an unbelievable NHL career. Funny enough, his first NHL game was against Ottawa, in Ottawa, in front of friends and family, and he signs a 3-year contract. Perfect term on that, right? Because you want to give him that stability. He's 34, going to be 35 during this upcoming season. But after the move for Alex DeBrincat, you look at this Sens top six that had potential, but a whole lot of youth before this move. Gil, their average age was 22 and a half in the top six. So adding a 34-year-old veteran who's one of the best face-off men in the league. The Senators, historically, over the last couple of years, have been one of the worst face-off teams. And it makes sense having young centermen. Stutz is like 36%. But it seems like a perfect fit. Giroux plays the wing, Stutz at center, but Giroux takes those strong side faceoffs for him as well. The first time I tweeted about this, Gil, on Sens Central was 17 months ago, where we were in the middle of the rebuild, and you're looking ahead. You're like, okay, where can we go into a contending mode? And you look at the free agents. Ottawa, not always a big destination. I don't know why, beautiful city, but all that to say, it's time. It happened. Claude Giroux's coming home, and Sens fans all together. There's been so many bad vibes around this team the last 5 years, and as you can see, we got the floral going. Pilsy and I were both, having a great time on today's episode of Locked On Senators. So it's a great day to be an Ottawa Senators fan, because the moves that were made in the lead up to this, and now this is just kind of the bow on top, is that this is a team that expects to contend for a playoff spot next year. And you know what? I don't think they're done too. They still want to add a defenseman as well.
Talk to me a little bit about the intangibles that a Claude Giroux adds. I mean,
Yes.
He's a veteran, he's a leader, but his experience has got to mean a lot to a young roster that the Senators have right now.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you look at the players who have been here for a while. Thomas Chabot, most notably, he's going into his 7th season. Wild to think that, but he's never even sniffed playoff hockey. Right? 6 full seasons, I should. Yeah, because he's going into his 7th. He hasn't sniffed playoff hockey. Brady Tkachuk came in with a list to Pierre Dorion in their exit meeting saying these things need to change. Like, we need to become a team that's not the laughing stock of the league, a team that actually has respect. And I think that they got the respect going out and getting Alex DeBrincat, a guy who's a 2-time 40-goal scorer. But again, you're adding the leadership. I would be shocked if he's not wearing a letter on opening night for the Ottawa Senators as an assistant captain. He is just everything that this team needs, from the face-off to what he brings on the special teams, and he still contributes. Now, I don't expect him to be over a point per game, although I put out a hot take on Twitter today that he's going to reach 1,000 points this upcoming season. He's got 77 to go, so close to a point per game if he does hit that lofty goal. So, I'll put a little spice on that, but all in all, man, Claude Giroux is just the perfect fit. And you mentioned the intangibles, what he's going to bring in the locker room, and then just what he brings around the league in terms of respect. This is a guy who chose to play in Ottawa. So now other stars are going to be like, wait, I wonder, like, why? Like, what is it? And then they look in, they're like, wow, we've got Brady Tkachuk, who's going to be an absolute menace when he makes his playoff debut, the way he plays. And you're looking at this young core all aging at the perfect time. You look at it right now, I know it's a little premature to look at line combinations, but you can roll out a top 6 of Norris with Tkachuk and Batherson, a great line from last season. And now you've got DeBrincat, Giroux, and the 3rd overall pick in Tim Stützle, who's now got a couple years under his belt. So that, to me, is a formidable top 6. But again, we'll see, because the summer of Pierre Dorion continues, and it's not over quite yet.
How much cap space do the Sens have left to work with? You talked about bringing in a defenseman. What kind of room do they have to maneuver and to bring somebody in?
A lot. They've actually still got just about $20 million in cap space now. They do have to sign Josh Norris. He scored 35 goals in 66 games this year. So he's going to be due for a pretty big raise coming off his entry-level contract. But they've been doing so well at moving money out that it's offset this move, right? Matt Murray, they only had to keep 1.75 this year and $2 million next year. Moving him to Toronto, that was a $6.25 million cap hit. So right now, going into today, they had $24.8 million to work with, and they just spent $6.5. So there is still plenty of room to maneuver if the Senators are going to go big game hunting, whether it's a Mackenzie Weegar or a Jacob Chychrun in a trade. Are they somehow, I heard a rumor today, but I would actually stay away from it, but I heard they're at least kicking tires on John Klingberg, an unrestricted free agent. So let's just say we could be chatting later today again, Jill.
Well, I'd love that, Ross. And great news there for Ottawa Senators fans. And thanks so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. And we'll do it again soon.